In my preteens, I used to be a competitive badminton player. Though very sporadic, I would train under my coach and join some tournaments. I entered my very last tournament when I was in 8th grade, where I placed 2nd. Without a shadow of a doubt, I used to be very okay at this sport. Now, it's been years since I last practiced, and even more than that since I actually played, so we'll see how this goes. My dad invited me to join him and his clubbies to play for a few hours, and here's how it went. I was rocking the socks and slides when we arrived because I had my shoes in my duffel. I didn't want to get my outsoles dirty since I needed all the grip I could get. When we entered the place, it looked pretty much exactly how it used to look. Not much has changed, even after the pandemic in 2020, or even after the typhoon in 2021. There were still a lot of kids being coached, just like I was years ago, and there were also a lot of adults playing and practicing and whatnot. We entered and got greeted by the club organizer, and we went to our spot. I then changed into my shoes. Obviously, these aren't badminton shoes. These are running shoes that I had just recently washed, so I was hoping that the clean outsoles would give me a little more traction because most of my shoes are runners. Running shoes don't have great traction unless you're on like asphalt. And traction is very important in badminton, which is why I always used to play in futsal shoes, but unfortunately I haven't had a new pair of those in years. So I just wore runners for now. By the way, this is what ended up happening to those shoes after that one session. Yeah, definitely not advisable to play badminton in running shoes. I need to get myself some new grippy shoes. But yeah, I started with a little bit of stretching only because the camera was on. I mean, stretching is very important. I am glad I stretched though, because after this session, my legs were more sore than they've ever been in such a long time. After stretching, it was time for me to warm up with some hits for the first time in years. As I was beginning to warm up, someone from the other court called my attention. Turns out it was my former coach. It was really cool seeing him, and I had told him that it was my first time back in years. So knowing that my coach was literally right beside me, I put a little bit more pressure on myself, even though I was just warming up. But even with that, I kept messing up. Again, and again, and again. Eventually my movement got a little better, but still muscle memory was barely there. Also coming up is my first attempt at a jump smash in years. Pathetic. If I played like this years ago, I'd get an earful from my coach, and a well-deserved earful at that. So for the rest of my warm-up, I just tried to get my reps in because my body just wasn't used to the movements anymore. My timing was off, my reaction time sucked, and even returning the most simple shots, I'd miss a lot of it. After my warm-up, I hydrated myself and got ready for my first game. During this session, I think I played 4 or 5 games and won a grand total of 1 out of the 4 or 5 that I played. Also, there was one game that I wasn't able to film and one game that was filmed at a really crappy angle. So I'm not going to show you guys all my games. Instead, I'm going to show you guys some of my highlights and some of my lowlights. I'll show you guys my lowlights first, and I'll also try and talk about my mistakes and what I lacked, essentially. I'm not going to show all of my lowlights though. If I showed all my lowlights, then this video would go on for hours. As you can see, a lot of my lowlights involve just really basic errors that I really shouldn't be messing up. But I guess that's what happens when you haven't done something in half a decade and you try to jump back into it. Basically, now that I am back, I lack a little bit of coordination and timing and cardio, accuracy, repetitions, spatial awareness, proper technique, any amount of skill. Moving on. Time for my highlights, and you'll see that a lot of my highlights too weren't because I did anything special, but because of my opponents messing up. So shoutouts to my opponents for messing up every now and then. Like this first highlight is just a little rally and this drop that the opponent wasn't able to return. So yeah, even my highlights weren't great, but it's been over 5 years, so I'll take what I can get. I got ready to hit the showers after the session, and their bathroom was less than well maintained. Let's just say that.
Smells like really good. All right.
So if we learned anything from this video, it's that I now suck at badminton. I know I just need to get my reps in like I used to. And I'm not talking about just playing more and more games because I can only get so far by doing just that. I'm talking about relearning and practicing all the fundamentals and just drilling them over and over and over again. Like nothing but service, service receive, backhand overhead, forehand overhead. So yeah, hopefully the next time I vlog something badminton related, I'll have a lot more highlights to show. Let me know in the comments what your childhood sport was and what other sport you think I should try out next. For more vlogs like this, the link to the playlist as always is up there and the link is also down below. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. That'll really help me out. I say that all the time, but it really, really does. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Whoa!